Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today we're going to be going into the Inferno 3 stage of the Ardent Orc King Beatdown Battle for the Million Live Tempest Days collab. And we will be using the best team in the game, the Vengeance team. Because even though Geld tries to kind of stop you from using it because he doesn't let you use body and spirit changing skills, the seal only lasts for 3 turns, which means that you can play around, and there are some turns here and there where you are not sealed from using these. Now, it does require you to keep a bunch of units up front for the seal to actually run out, because he does seal the backline, and the seals don't run out if they never see the front. But if you play your cards right, you will have a few turns here and there where you can use some extra vengeance skills. But mostly our vengeance stacks are going to come from using Velzard herself and getting hit a lot. So, we will be using this rendition of the team. We've got Velzard, we've got Raphael, we've got Water Soe, who is skill fused, free-to-play Yom, Trainee, who is also skill fused, and then free-to-play Trya. So technically, this team satisfies the condition of having 2 beatdown emissary units, because both Trya and Yom are free-to-play. It is not very free-to-play friendly, though, because both Trya and Soe pretty much need to be at level 100 in skill fused for this to work, because this team is meant to be used by a meta that has invincibility, which means you don't take damage, which means he's going to hit you really hard, which he does hit quite hard. So we need to negate that damage as much as possible. And there are only very specific turns we can use either of Raphael's skills, because they're both body and spirit changing. Yom has the orb change, Soe has an orb change, Trya has an orb change, Trainee is a healer, Soe with his skill fusion has the attack nerf and defensive buff, and then Trainee with her skill fusion has the ult resistance buff for 50%. So between these 2 defensive skills, plus having just naturally high defense, we should be able to tank fairly well. And also, every time we get hit, we'll have Vengeance Velzard putting some stacks. So eventually, we will kill. And that is the whole point, is eventually killing bosses by making them kill themselves, essentially. So let's go ahead and jump in and see how well this team actually runs. Okay, so turn 1, we do have Trya here to take care of the turn 1 orb change. We are using the skill point protector, well, not protectors, but frontline support units, so we have 42 skill points to use, which is kind of important, because we want to use the defense skill alongside the orb change. So we're going to run with Trya up front here, because we want all 3 of our units, no matter who he hits, to have extra defense. We could have gone the opposite route where we used Trainee's ult resistance buff instead of the defensive buff, but I went with this route. You could really do either or. So here, 1400 damage. It's not really that bad, because we didn't have that debuff on, the ult resistance down debuff. So now we will use the ult resistance buff from Trainee. So, it doesn't really matter, because both skills last for multiple turns. You could use them in either order. You could use Trainee turn 1 and Soe turn 2, or Soe turn 1 and Trainee turn 2. It really, again, it doesn't matter, as long as both are active. And you're going to use these skills a lot. So Vengeance Velzard also resetting the skill costs is very important to keeping your team alive. So here, the seal is here, so we gotta have at least one Vengeance character up front for a good amount of time, because we want that seal to go away eventually, because any additional stacks of Vengeance we can put on is going to be very, very impactful toward the end of the fight, when, we're dishing out hundreds of thousands of damage. It could be 150,000 of damage, right? It's just, we need to have as much stacks as possible. Well, we still need that defensive debuff, and the defensive buff on both sides. So here, he hits Trya for 9,000 and then hits her again. So, that's not great. She is a free-to-play unit, but she lost almost half of her health in 2 hits. So that just goes to show how powerful Inferno 3 is, and why you need these skill-fused units to even attempt to survive. Now here, we get kind of really bad luck, because our orb changes aren't great. Soe does have his orb change. It unfortunately does cost 30 points, which is a hindrance to him. I really wish they would just go back and change that to make him down. I wish all the 30-point orb converters would just be dropped to 25 with some random update. Like, get them in line with the rest of the game, please. It doesn't make any sense why they're 5 points extra. So here, we are sealed. We do have the 50-point skill point seal, but as you can see, Trainee is about to lose her body and spirit changing seal, so we can heal next turn. But because we brought Yeoman a turn later, or 2 turns later, really, we still have him sealed and locked up for Vengeance. So, kind of unfortunate. It is a good thing that Vengeance Velzard does last for 3 turns, though, so there's 3 hits right there. Thankfully, he hit our tankiest unit, both being type advantage and just being naturally tanky. So here, we could heal if we really, really, really felt like it, but I don't really feel like doing that. We're up to only 6 stacks of Vengeance on Geld, and next turn is when we're going to start seeing those stacks come into play. So here, we have Velzard who's able to reset, which we're kind of going to need, because a lot of our skills are a bit costly. But I'm trying to figure out who I want up front to actually have Vengeance. We also, there you go, do have the heal charm, the single target heal charm on Velzard, just to give us that extra little bit. Which, I should have used when Trya was up front to give her a little bit of healing, but now we're going to heal her anyways. So, was it a bit of overkill? Sure, but we did need the orb change from Trya, and then we'll bring Raphael in. So Yom is about to lose the seal on his Vengeance skill, but I think it gets reapplied, which is unfortunate. So we'll see next turn if we're actually able to get another 3 stacks of Vengeance on Geld, or if we're just going to have to sit here and chill. Also, I really hope Raphael doesn't get hit. Cool, so he hits Yom, and then there's 1 hit on Raphael. So we lose 1 stack of Vengeance right there, but we are unsealed for Yom, which means that we can put a stack on, give us some physical resistance, which will definitely help, and then because we have the power of Trya, we can, use her and orb change. It's just that her orb change costs a little bit extra, so we're going to have to use Velzard again. And we don't have a unit that's, buffing green orbs here, right? We don't have Rain, we don't have Isis, so the green orbs are not getting us as much protection gauge as I normally would by running this team, because we don't have Isis, and we also don't have the protection gauge on Green's charm going on. We got the heal charm for survivability more than anything else. So we are definitely not maximizing that. But here we put another defensive buff and attack down on Geld because we just want to take as little damage as possible. 17,000 damage on the ult is inconsequential. This is not a high damage team in the traditional sense. We just need to live. So here, there is a debuff. There is the seal again. So now we're definitely not using anything. Kind of unfortunate. 80k. 80k on the Vengeance is not great. If we're going to be completely honest about that. It's not great. we need more Vengeance power. So, but on the plus side, no one is really in desperate need of health either, and we're 6 turns in, which is also a very nice factor, but we're about to take a butt ton here. So we have to make sure that we have Trainee's buff up so we can cut that damage in half, because if it didn't, I'm pretty sure he would almost one-shot somebody. So we're just going to send these blues, get him out of here, because I don't want to orb change. So that lowers his attack, or his physical attack from Raphael's ult, which will definitely help us with saving some damage as well. And he still does 8,000 and change on Soe. So, he's got the defensive buff and the ult buff. So, that it could have been a lot worse. It could have been 16,000 damage right there. Or more if he wasn't, with the defense and the attack nerf. Soe probably actually would have just been one-shot there if we didn't have all those extra additional defensive buffs. But we do have, a natural, or well, not natural, but we have a very good hand of greens right here. We're going to apply the defense and the attack down again. And we still have the ult resistance up, so that's great. So 1 damage, 3,800 damage right there. And then Trainee does 8,000. Okay, cool. And then this ult, 4,000 on Trainee. That's not bad at all. because she's got type advantage. Soe, looking a little rough. But we are once again unsealed on turn 8 for Raphael, which means that we can heal here. We can Vengeance. And... No, okay, I don't think we do that. Well, we can at least Vengeance heal, because Soe needs some health. Soe needs some HP, badly. And if we play our cards right, we can either heal him here with Velzard, or we can just run it, because this hand is kind of shit. One of the two. So, let's see. I could... Okay, yeah, I could bring Trya in and then Yom in. So that could work. So there we go. So we'll do this. We'll heal Soe up here as well. Boom. So now we're looking pretty good. We can use the Trya Yoink, and then we can just bring Yom in and then change his other two. Actually, no, we can't because we're 5 points shy. Also unfortunate. Oh well. Let's just send the greens, because we're going to get almost a butt ton of points, max points there anyways, because of the extra part of Velzard's kit is really nice. Like, you don't need that many green orbs to get a lot of points. Alright, so there's the alt resistance down again. Our alt buff is leaving, but because we used Vengeance last time, everything has been reset. So he is continually taking damage. It's not very fast. We're up to 27 stacks, and you'd think that 27 stacks would do a lot more. But he's not raising his attack like normally, right? That's the way they're getting around Vengeance, is, you know, putting alt resistance down on us so we can't guard against that, and then instead of raising attack or crit or pierce, he's just raising elemental attack or physical attack. And that's how they get around Vengeance nowadays, to make it inconsequential, because you can't seal the element buff or physical / magic buffs. You can seal attack, crit, pierce. You can guard, but guard doesn't count against alt damage. So that's how they're hard countering right now. So we have the defense buff, we have the attack down, we still have the alt buff going, and now we're just going to send a bunch of Yom orbs. Because, yeah, we have not a great hand. We're going to use Vengeance again, just so we can get Yom, or not Yom, but Trainee healed up. I thought it would have hit Soe, but oh well. But we need the Vengeance, so everybody would have the ability to add stacks to the counter. And then that's a good hand right there. 10,000 damage right there. Because he's, you know, continually raising up his space attack, right? So he's doing more there than he did, you know, last time Soe got alted, which is terrible. So here, we're going to heal, we're going to orb change, we're going to Vengeance, and that's all the points we have right now, because we cannot use another Velzard quite yet. So we can't reset Soe's defensive buff. So we're going to bring Raphael in, take Soe away, because now I don't want him up front anymore, as little as possible at least. Because if he gets hit, you know, just a few more times, he's going to die. And I don't really want that. But we are now on to turn 12 coming in here, right, after Geld attacks us. Which is fine, because that gives us stacks, but Vengeance Raphael did not have any stacks. So turn 12 is the last turn we need to get that last mission. It's like the kill turn. Obviously, we're not quite there yet. If we were able to use more stacks, if I had played around a bit more and had Raphael and Yom up front when they were both unsealed, we could have added a few more stacks here and there, and it would have killed a bit faster. So if you have this team and you want to run it, then certainly be on the lookout for making sure to prioritize Raphael and Yom being up front as much as possible. It's just that, you know, without Soe constantly being up front, not everybody is going to have a defense buff. Trainee pretty much has to live up front, because she is the tankiest unit here. So that's fine. It's just the other two units have to be swapped out here and there. But we're up to 37 stacks of Vengeance, and I think we're doing like 115k or something per, maybe a little bit more. So here's 10,000 right there. That hurt a lot. A lot. So 251k. So he will die this next turn. He will die this next turn as long as no one else dies. But Trainee can't heal herself now. So we're going to heal a little bit from the charm. And he's not alt. No, he is going to alt. So that's a problem. So here, I think we just have to make sure we live. I think that's the more important thing. So orb change, perfect. We've got 50 skill points still. We'll bring Soe back in for we're swapping out Raphael. I would swap out probably Trainee, but well, no, Trainee's got the alt, and then we would bring that blue, so never mind. All right, so defense. Lots of defense. And we're going to pray that everyone can live here, right? We do have the alt debuff, or the alt buff up still, so we don't really need to use Trainee's skill. But we do need to have the Soe skill up. So there we go. And maybe we should have actually kept Raphael up because he would have lowered the physical attack of Geld. This wouldn't have hurt quite as much. 9,000 though isn't terrible. Guarded that, one hit there, and then boom, 216,000 damage on the Vengeance. And there we go. Inferno 3 has been taken care of with a Vengeance team. It's kind of rough. Again, you can play around with it. So that was actually our first time clear, and we did not get the 12 turns or less, but we got everyone alive, and we got the flame. So, I mean, at least we can say we cleared it with the Vengeance team. So, I mean, as far as substitutions on this specific team, you could not bring Raphael. You could bring another defensive unit. You could bring another healer. You could bring... oh man, who would you bring? You could bring, like, Earth Aaron or something like that. I don't know, as an orb changer. Because obviously, like, we didn't really use Raphael too much. He was kind of mostly dead weight, honestly. So any other orb changer, any other healer, maybe, would be better. If there's another unit that can give us a defensive buff that's maybe greater. Like, you could bring Light Hinata, I guess? Because she's got a higher defensive buff. And she's got the element resistance, but it's only on her. So, I mean, there are little substitutions you could use, but Soe and Trainee are pretty much, like, almost required. I mean, quite honestly, I think I saw a JP YouTuber do this. He brought a stun team and just kept him stunned the entire time. And it went for, like, 20 turns or something, which, you know, it can work, right? Can work. But let me know what you guys think of this team. That's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.